The tropics has changed overnight, everybody. We have a very tricky transition happening. If you've never been here before, make sure you subscribe. We've been following this along for quite some time now. Even National Hurricane Center has changed these two chances of growth in the Eastern Pacific from a northwestward push towards a northward push. This is where something can build up into the Southern Gulf, maybe even the Western Caribbean, literally as we go 7 to 10 days away. So it's still quite a time away. But the latest information changed from yesterday, showing that we still have this high pressure, this upper level high moving to the west, which will put shear into the Gulf and the Western Caribbean, which will hinder any development. But showing that it has a very narrow window, and latest model runs actually take it right into that narrow window where it could form something up. So I'm going to show you the latest information in this video. What are you going to expect from the latest tropical update? Also, our severe weather. We still have it for today all the way towards Saturday. Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Mark again here at Weatherman Plus. I have the latest updates for you. If you don't know about the summer transition that we're going into in a couple of weeks, make sure you go watch my video from yesterday. That way you can stay updated. Now you can see that Tropical Depression 1 will turn into tropical storm, tropical depression, tropical storm Amanda as it forms up. Now, still showing this is going to unfavorable environment and it won't grow anymore. These are going to be the two that we need to watch. And the latest update this morning still shows that our thinning dust is about to get even thinner. So in the Pacific, we're going to have Amanda, then we're going to have Boris and Christina trying to form up by Central America. But these storms have a very short window. So you can see first our potential velocity anomaly, our favorable environment moving through all the way through this weekend, all the way until next week. Now, next week is going to mild down some, and it's only going to be right here from Central America going towards the southeast, towards the Bahamas. Then as that starts fading away for next week, then it's going to come into unfavorable environment from next weekend on for a moment. This is where the Atlantic side of the hurricane season will quiet down probably for about a month. But until then, we still got to deal with these waves going through all this favorable environment. Showing the latest information, you can see right here with the GFS, also agreeing that we have all this favorable environment towards the middle of the month, then it's going to transition. And you can see with the Euro showing the exact same information. The GFS takes it a little bit stronger. And the latest update with the long range, you can see this as well. So we have all that favorable environment towards the middle of the month. Then we have a period of unfavorable environment that is going to move through all the way towards the middle of July. And we need to watch a couple of areas. Right here towards the very end of June, it starts showing a little bit favorable environment over Central America. We need to watch possibly, and over here as we go through the middle of July. Other than that, it's going to be a lot of unfavorable conditions. This is the only moment we really need to watch for the next month. But it did change overnight and strengthen a little bit better. Now, this is going to move around a little bit. I'm just showing you the latest updates. You can see right here for your chances for a tropical depression that it all comes back northward as we go literally by Saturday, by the 13th, and it starts coming into the Gulf where we have a chance for something to form. This is still a low chance and is past 10 days on some of the models. But it's still a transition we need to watch. Yesterday, it didn't show any of that possible. Now, for the outlooks for the Atlantic side for National Hurricane Center, you can see there's still nothing expected for the next 7 days. But this is where that tropical wave is coming through, and I'm still expecting possible formation, but still showing it has dust, it has wind shear. But it shows that this high pressure is moving further towards the west, so the shear will be along the western Gulf, not the entire Gulf, and the dust is thinning out. Now, look at the difference that happened overnight. Not only this second area that we have a watch, remember I showed you we had multiple areas that was going to form up, and here they are. So the first area, it has gone to 50% in the next 7 days, not in the next 48 hours. But you also can notice that it shows that it moves slowly northwestward or northward. Also, the second one, it is a 20% chance in the next 7 days, nothing in the next 48 hours. But also, this one will generally move northward as well. So all this energy is about to bottle up, showing multiple systems could form and go in this direction. Now you see the latest updates on TD1, still showing with all the ensembles, this isn't going anywhere. It's going towards cooler water and wind shear, and it is going to weaken down, everybody. However, on the next portion, showing all these are going to bottle up, and more likely will go right in towards Mexico, so Mexico needs to pay attention. Plus, we're seeing multiple chances now of something stronger to form up from Western Caribbean and going towards the Gulf, showing everything is going to go into a pattern like this. Now the Euro takes it into the southern bay of Campeche, but still takes the same turn. This is going to be a big turn. Now the latest updates, look at this with the Euro, and you can see from your winds aloft. Now you get this big upper level high over here. Remember, high pressure goes clockwise. So you got this big upper level high that moves over here. This brings a lot of shear, but it brings it towards the Western Gulf. You also have this high pressure that is reaching out into the Caribbean that's going to help swing moisture and precipitation around that region once we go around 8 to 9 days. So now we're literally at 9 days, almost towards 10 days, and we're starting to see multiple chances for something to form up. So this will move around a little bit. As of the latest update, showing this will swing around, and while this goes around, brings a lot of shear to the Western Gulf, it leaves all this open from the Yucatan into the Gulf as that swings through, and this is according to the Euro, showing maybe this goes into the Gulf later and gets pulled northward by this trough coming through with that high ridge. Remember the weather pattern that we're going into. All the heat is going to shift towards the west. So showing that trough will pull that northward. But at the same time, we are literally still right at 10 days from this part. So I will keep you updated, but it's seen by GFS as well, which isn't surprising. So now that you see with the upper level winds, now you can see with vorticity, rotation in the atmosphere, that we get this tropical wave that rotates into the Caribbean, still showing it hits dry air, it hits the wind shear, but when it gets into this region, the dry air thins out and the wind shear moves to the west. So it really has a small pocket to where something could form up not only into the eastern Pacific, showing still multiple chances for tropical storms or a hurricane, more likely hitting towards Mexico, over here by Central America. And that next tropical wave pulls up towards northeastern Gulf, still showing as disorganized thunderstorms, and we're literally going right at 10 days from this portion. Still showing this to bring that above average rainfall towards southern Florida. Still, some of the ensembles show that could spin up. And then it shows all this pushes further west, and this is where the Euro takes advantage past 10 days, everybody, showing all this spins in from Central America and goes into the Gulf and brings another potential problem. Now you can see this best as you look at your water transport, as we literally have this big upper level high swinging everything into the Western Gulf. Where's getting hit with that shear, remember? But if you keep watching, you'll see all that transitions towards the west, and it leaves all this open while the upper level high is over here along the Western Gulf and the Northern Gulf, bringing shear. And this allows this to pull northward as that transpires into that. Showing past 10 days, this is where you potentially could get your problem. You can see with the GFS as well, showing this goes a little bit sooner, and it brings something over here by Nicaragua and Honduras, not over here into the Eastern Pacific. And it swings that around into the same weather pattern just a little bit sooner. So it's being seen by both models. Still, both of them is showing this either right at 7 days or at 10 days. Now, when we look at the ensembles, you can see here, it's a lot of low pressure here, but it's a lot of weak low pressure. And literally as we go 9 to 10 days, this is where GFS takes something could strengthen up right into the Gulf. Multiple areas, either the western, which will be shear, remember that, northern, which could be some shear, it's all about timing, and then the northeastward side, which is more vulnerable at this moment. Now, when you look with the Euro ensembles, you can almost see the same thing, that what GFS seeing growing up literally in 5 days by Central America, plus everything that can form out into the Eastern Pacific. And watch how all this transitions towards the west and comes right across. So the Euro is seeing the same thing in the ensembles as what the latest GFS is showing in the deterministic. And you see another chance right after that of formation. So we're seeing a lot more strength this morning, which is a little concerning. Now the temperatures, you can see the waters are very warm into the Eastern Pacific. They're boiling. But you also can see what's in the Gulf, Western Caribbean, going across the southeast of Florida, that we have a lot of area that is actually above average in our temperatures. So we have the below average anomaly moving through the Caribbean, even the MDR, our main development region. And we might see more of that below average kicking in as it strengthens El Nino into the Pacific, bringing more wind shear. Still showing my forecast is correct. We need to watch the Gulf, the Western Caribbean, and the southeast of the U.S. Latest information on the GEOS satellite, our dust satellite. You can see that upper level low that tries to form in the northern Gulf still. That's where shear's hitting at the moment, and we have this dry air that's hitting it from all this dust, so it's not able to form. Now, as we go through this next transition, you can see all this precipitation moving towards Central America, and we even get a little spin right here, right next to Florida as we go by June 10th and June 11th, and that's from the GEOS satellite. Also, all this dust is thinning out. And you can see this when you look at your latest information. So down here, this is your ITCZ zone. This is your intertropical convergence zone. This is where everything really forms as all this precipitation moves northward. So if you take the latest look at it, you can see the precipitation where the thickness is down here. And as we go forward into the models, you can see all that raises northward as we go into the middle of June. As we go towards the end of June, this is going to raise up even more. This helps brings a lot of precipitation into these storms as they come off the coast of Africa, helping these storms to strengthen. At the same time, you can see how much this dust has thinned out, everybody. So we have a lot of dust at the moment, but all this is going to move to the west, and it's going to leave all this open for something that's trying to form up. I still think it's a low chance, but we still need to watch it. It did upscale since yesterday. The first name on the Atlantic side will be Arthur. The second one would be Bertha. Now, real quick on our severe weather, a quick update. Remember, you got to update these every single day because of the weather pattern we're going into. And you see, we did get a tornado warn cell, a tornado report in Wyoming, like I was showing you in yesterday's video. So we had 2 tornado reports. We had a lot of rain, a lot of wind as well. And once again, it's going to be a low chance as we go through these days. It's mostly going to be a lot of chances for large hail and winds. So for today, you can see thunderstorms in any of this green area. There is chances for a tornado, even a strong tornado over here for South Dakota coming from North Dakota. So here's your cities and states at risk for a potential tornado for today. Also, the wind threat and the hail threat. The hail threat is still going to be large hail, chances for 2 inches in diameter. This is going to be the whole theme of this storm. So here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for today. Also, the wind threat for today. Here's your cities and states at risk for possible high winds. So you see, as you go through the evening, you get some storms building up over here for the Panhandle of Texas, also over here for the Florida Keys, but you get some strong storms coming from North Dakota that moves into South Dakota as well. And this is where you can get a chance for a strong tornado. Then it turns into some damage and winds, some high winds moving through. You also get some storms moving through for New Mexico as you go through the evening. Now, early morning hours, the storms are going to stay into western Texas, into Minnesota, eastern Nebraska, and it's going to come back again only for the north for tomorrow. This is where you get some strong storms pulling up all the way from Montana, Nebraska, Dakotas, Iowa, and Minnesota. This is bringing more chances for damage and winds and hail. But you could get a quick spin up of a tornado before it turns into the damage and wind event. So just be aware of that. So for tomorrow, for Thursday, you still can see thunderstorms in any of these areas. The chances for the tornado, once again, is small. So here's your cities in South Dakota at risk for a chance for a tornado for tomorrow, for Thursday. It will be, once again, wind and hail, and the same signature is large hail, chances for 2 inches in diameter in this black hatched area. So here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for tomorrow, for Thursday. Also the wind threat. Here's your cities and states at risk for the wind threat for tomorrow. And we're going to stay in this weather pattern all the way towards Friday and Saturday. So Friday, we do have our severe weather. We have the 2%, we have the 15%, even the significant severe in this black hatched area. That will be chances for large hail once again. Also chances for winds, but you cannot rule out an isolated tornado threat. So I will keep you updated. So here's your cities and states at risk for the severe weather for Friday. And Saturday, as this moves further towards the north, we have a slight risk over here for Montana and North Dakota. There will be a marginal around this as well. But so far, here's your cities in Montana at risk for severe weather for Saturday. And here we are back here, everybody. So remember, this forecast outlook is still 7 days away from anything possible forming up. I will keep you updated. So far, the shear keeps the Western Gulf at bay, but all that moves over Mexico as well. And before I go, a quick word from our Father. Everybody remember, God is always everywhere. And for those that believe, the Spirit lives within you as well. Ephesians 4:4-7. There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. We're starting to see that transition northward towards Central America. I will keep you updated. We've been way ahead of the tropics up to this point. We will not have any surprises. If needed, I will do an afternoon update just to keep you informed. Thank you for your time. And remember, above all things, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope He keeps you safe every single day of your life. And forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. Remember, this is still a low chance.